Yay. All right. The thing is first thing is it has to be, history has to be run on an external drive. It cannot be put on the cloud unless they've changed it, which they might have, and I haven't read anything about that yet. I haven't seen that. And it cannot be on a hard drive that's built into your computer. It's got to be an external drive. What type of external drive? Well, this is a USB drive. Let me get over here so people at home can see this. That's an external drive because it's a USB drive. Well, they're all USB drives. They all plug into a USB port. This is a terabyte. A thumb drive is a terabyte. Man, when I saw those for sale, I think I paid 20 bucks a piece for them one time. Never heard of the brand. I've never had a lick of trouble out of them. I don't use them for file history though. I use this one and another one. These are the two hard drives, and this is a hard drive. Just doesn't look that fancy. It's no different than a regular hard drive that plugs into a USB port. I use these for backing up my computer. And I've got another one that's plugged in right now. When it fills out, I pull it out and this one goes in. I'm supposed to have a third one I keep in the safe deposit box, according to everything I read on the internet, and I've never done that. So not worried about it. Here's an external drive. This one's all built in. So it came like this. And then they also sent me the cable, and I can't find it for hooking it up, but I sort of jerry-rigged it and it works. Remember the old big hard drives? This is a case that holds those. I can take this apart and put another drive in here if I want to. This comes with all this power. You got to have a power cord plus a cord that plugs into your USB drive, but this would work. In fact, when I started, this is the size I was using because this was common back then. I've got another one here that's similar to this first one I showed you. And what I like about this one, if I don't like the drive that's in there, I can take it out and I can put another drive in. So if this one's, I don't think this is large enough. This is a terabyte. That's large enough. And when this first came out, I used a terabyte hard drive. I never filled it 2% using file history because of the way file history works. What's nice, the case costs $5. I don't know about the hard drive, but this just slides in, makes contact with pins up here in front. Then you put this top back on it and you slide it in. If I can do this. Nope. There we go. There. Not getting it on there good enough. Set it down. Try not doing it up in the air. There we go. There's a switch on the end that says it'll lock it or unlock the slide. Now, I've got another one, and this is already plugged in. Hence the lights on. On this one, this is running file history. I'm running file history on this computer. And what I'm going to do is show you how to set it up on that computer. And then I'm going to come over here and show you how to use it if you want to go back and capture some files later on. And talk about how to do that. So you got all these ways of going about this, but you've got to have an external drive. And if you want to do some reading and let me know, can you use the cloud? It's, that'd be interesting. And let's see, I got to let some people in here. Well, who's the other one? Well, there were two people that said, nope. Okay. All right. Okay, I want to see that again. The first thing I suggest you do, and I'm going to use this drive right here. Just for the fun of it. This is 500 gigabytes. It's, I just noticed, well, all these that you get like this, it's already installed, there's screws in it. I could take those screws out and get the drive out of there if I wanted and put another one in this case. But I bought it just the way it was, and it had the cables for me and all that, and they're somewhere in my house, because I haven't used this for quite a while. But I'm gonna plug this one into this computer over here. And this is the one. I don't want AI companion. I'm sorry. I could care less about it. I don't like AI. I turn it off on everything I can. I just bothers me. You know, just read an article how many people are already losing their jobs because of AI. How many college students are not being hired because of AI? It's happening already. Just, you know, this percentage is small. So far. Yeah, it's scary. All right. So now what do we do? To start this thing, what I suggest you do is you rename your drive. So you go into your computer and you give the drive a different name. Just don't call it USB drive. So in order to do that, you've got to get into File Explorer, which is down on the taskbar. And you go into File Explorer, come on, open up, and you scroll all the way down to the bottom if you got a lot of stuff like I do, and you click on this PC. And let's see. Oh, that's this one right here. You click on it, you highlight it, or you could right click on it and go down to rename. I'm so used to using Windows 11, I just come up and click on the icon for rename. I've used it often. I know that's the icon for rename. And if you're not sure, if you point at it, it'll tell you what that icon's for. And you say rename, and guess what we're going to do? I'm going to call this file history. Hit the enter key, and notice it renames it file history. Oh, people at home can't see this. I haven't shared yet. Okay, let me get out of here and come down to share. You can tell I haven't done this for a while, and I'm going to do the screen. And then once I'm sharing, come on, let's go. Screen, oh, it's highlighted, share. There we go. I'm sharing my screen right here. And what I did was I clicked on file history. And then I scrolled down to the bottom. And clicked on this PC. Remember when this PC used to show you all this stuff about your computer, the documents folder and the photos folder and the music folder? It doesn't anymore. When you click on this PC, it just shows you what's plugged into your computer now. They changed it. Got to take my introduction to Windows 11 to show you how you get that stuff back on a different screen. But what I did was I clicked on this, highlight it, and then I clicked on the rename icon. And this used to say USB drive. And I typed in file history and hit the enter key, and now I've renamed it. So that's the first thing I do. The second thing I do is I change the letter drive on this device. Every time you plug this in, if you have other USB drives, the letter C is your operating system drive. That's for most people, that's where your programs are installed. And most people, that's where all your data is stored. And you know, that thing gets filled pretty fast. Well, if you plug in a USB drive, it takes on the next letter, D. You plug in another one, it's E. Well, what if I plug in, on this computer, notice, well, you don't see it, but this computer has a DVD drive in it. So my C drive is my operation drive, and the next thing plugged into it was the DVD drive. That took the letter D. The next thing I plug in it would be E. So if I plugged this USB drive right here, if I plug this into this other computer, it would come up as E, which is different than the letter it takes on in this computer. First of all, if you got file history disk, you only want to use it on one computer. You don't want to use it on multiple computers. It's devoted to one computer. So that drive right there will be devoted to this computer right here. And this other one, for those of you at home, I'm holding up another drive I got plugged into the other computer. That one, I've been using that for file history for about a year or so now on this computer. Because this is the computer I teach from in my classes. In one of my classes, I show how to set up and use file history. It's called the file management course. So now what I want to do is I want to assign a letter drive to this thing. And that'll be the letter drive. No matter when I plug this in, it will always come up with that letter. And that letter will be taken off the list. It can't be assigned to any other drive. And that's what the rest of the first page is. The first thing you do is you hold down the Windows key and you hit the letter X. Come on, and this menu pops up. And what I want to do here, after I've done that, I want to check on disk management. So I come up to disk management. Let's see if I've got that in here. Yeah, I do. There's disk management. I click on that, and this fancy screen comes up, and it shows me, and I'm gonna blow this up so it fills the whole screen. It shows me everything that's plugged into this computer. Everything as a drive. Up at the top, it says disk 0, partition 1. If you look down here, here's disk 0. Your operating system drive will be called, it's said to be partitioned. It's broken up into different parts. The computer actually sees it as different parts. And on this, the very first part is just a healthy partition, and that there's nothing in it, really. It's just sitting there. It's only 260 megabytes, so it's not that big. The last section is the recovery partition. If something went wrong with this operating system and I could get back into the computer, I could tell it to go to the recovery partition to recover Windows on my computer. I've never had to do that. There's other ways of doing that I think are more efficient, but you can do that. The stuff in the middle, this is drive C. This is where the operating system is. All the programs are installed on this thing. Then the next one is called disk 1. And that's this other drive, because it's got the letter what? Basic offline. This is called file history. I'm not going to worry about these first two little parts. This is the one I'm concerned about. I want to give that a different letter drive. So what you do under disk management, turn the page of the handout if I can get my fingers working. And you right click anywhere in that region. And somewhere in here, right there, it says change drive letter and paths. Not worry about the paths, I want to change to the drive letter. So I click on change the drive letter. And this pops up. And it shows me right away. I can't make that little window any bigger. That's it. I can move it around the screen. It says this thing's got to be, it's assigned the letter D. What I want to do is what? I want to change it. So I click on change. And then you come over here where it says D, and you click on that, and now you got the alphabet. So on my main computer at home, my backup drive I called Z. My file history, I called it Y. And I got another one in there, I think I called it X. So I got drives labeled X, Y, and Z. So that means if I unplug them and plug them back into the computer, the letter I assign to it is assigned to that drive when I plug it in. And it once you say, okay, I'm going to call this Z. So I'm going to click on Z. And then before you're done, you've got to click on the OK screen. And you got to click on some programs that you rely on. If you change the letter, you might not be able to access stuff on this that you had on there already. I'm not worried about that. I'm going to start using this as file history. So what I'll do is I'll click some programs that rely on this letter. Do you want to continue? Yes, I want to continue. And what happened? It's now what? Right there. It now has the letter Z assigned to it. If I unplug it and I plug in 2 or 3 other USB drives, my first drive is what? C. The next USB drive I plug in will be D. The next one will be E. And then people say, what happened to A and B? Well, you've got to go back into the 1980s. When personal computers first came up, we had floppy drives. I remember the Apple IIe, it had 2 floppy drives. One was drive A and the other one was drive B. If you've got a desktop computer, you can actually buy a floppy drive insert that you can put in it. And when you plug it into the system, it will be A. And if you plug a second floppy in there, it will become the letter B. All right. Well, we don't use them anymore. So they've never reassigned those letters. They are forever assigned to the floppy drives. So C is the first hard drive that came along. The next drive they plugged into the computers.
Kind of like putting the basketball player's number up referee, can never be used again.
Right, yep, that's right. Oh, the other thing is Z is no longer in that list to assign to any other drive. It's just to this one. You can go in and unassign Z to this drive, and that screws things up. You got to make a decision. I'm going to do this, and it's going to stay this way. So that's how I start with all that. And now this thing's got a new name, it's got a new letter, and you go to the next page, and now we're ready to start setting up file history. File history has I took this right off of Microsoft's website. That's why I put it in quotes. It's the Microsoft Web Community page. Has a predefined set of items that will be backed up automatically. All your libraries. So somebody says, what's a library? Well, there are libraries on your computer. The main 4 or 5 folders that they give you to save things in: documents, photos, videos, music. They form a library. So that all that data is automatically backed up. And they go on to say, supposedly they're going to do your contacts. The desktop will be backed up. That's a folder. What goes on your desktop is there's a folder called desktop. And if you look in it, every icon you see on your desktop is in that folder. But it will back that up. It will back up Internet Explorer, your contacts. It's only going to back up contacts if you're using Microsoft's program for your email, for contacts. If you're using Gmail, sorry, it's not going to back them up. You're going to have to do that another way. Those are out in space with somewhere with Gmail, though. Internet Explorer, Edge favorites, and finally, OneDrive. It will back up OneDrive. I've not got that to work, so I don't count on that one. The drive you're using for backup must be constantly plugged into your computer. If it is not, it's not going to work the way it should. You will get some things backed up, but not all of them. Well, I teach with this thing. So I take this whole thing apart every time I come over here, and then I set it up, plug in my OneDrive or my file history disk, and let it run for several hours. And then when I go home, I take it all apart. So this thing is not plugged in all the time. So it doesn't really give me file history the way I really would want it. I would need to have that plugged into this computer all the time and not unplug it. I'm not going to do that. It goes back and forth, but it's good. It does enough that I can use it for demonstrations. And that's what I'm concerned about. So now, how do you look at file history? Well, does everybody know how to open the start window? First of all, I need to get out of what? File Explorer. So let's get out of File Explorer. And I'm sharing my screen. For those of you at home, what I want to do now is I want to click on, where is it? Way over here to the far left. That right there, or I want to click in the search, the search window, really doesn't matter. If you open the start screen, right there, I clicked on the Windows icon. If you hit the key that has the Windows icon on it, that's this one right here. You hit one of those icons, it will open up the start window. Notice where the cursor, whoops, I want to do it over here. On this one, notice the cursor comes up in right at the beginning of the search window. If you start typing, whatever I type will start appearing. It automatically puts the cursor there when you open the start window. If you want to search, you do. If you want something else, you move the cursor around and click on something else. So what am I going to do? I'm going to type file history. Well, usually it doesn't come up that fast. I've done it so many times on this computer, it automatically pops up because it's used to me typing it in. It'll probably say File Explorer. So I need to start typing part of the word history to get file history. And this tells me right here that this file history is in the control panel. In Windows 10, they started something called the settings window. They're moving stuff from the old control panel, which used to have all the settings in it. They're moving a lot of that stuff over to from the control panel. They're moving it into the settings window on 10 and 11. The settings window look a little bit different in both of them, but they have the same idea. I think they found out they're not going to be able to get all of it. There's some things that have to stay in the control panel. So what I do is I click on it, or I can come over here and click on what? Open. Doesn't matter. Right there, it says file history. So I click on that, and it goes into the control panel. And now, right here, file history doesn't recognize this drive. Select another drive. Oh boy. We'll see what happens here. If this doesn't work, I'll have to throw another drive on this, but I don't want to go through that yet. The first thing I want to do over here is a table of contents in the left-hand column. The first one I want to do is select a drive. Searching for drives. What is going on? Oh, there it is, right there. Okay, it finally came up. So I click on that. And there's nothing to say okay. Oh, yes. There we go. I keep forgetting that. I click on OK. And you might have to scroll down to get to that. Do you want to move your existing file? You see, we found some files you previously copied using file history. We can move them to your new drive. No, when you do this, you're not going to see this screen. You start out with a new drive, this will not appear. It's because I keep, teaching people how to do this. I plug them in and I pull them out. and then reformat them and start all over again with the same drives. So I'm not worried about that. Now, what I need to do, now that I've chosen that one, it automatically turned it on. I'm not going to worry about that because that's the first thing. The next thing you can do is, if you turn to the top of the next page, I took this off my computer at home. Look at how many drives I have plugged into that thing at home. I got one called Acronis, file history, SSD, PUT. I mean, I've got 4 or 5 drives plugged into my main computer at home, and they're all used for something different. But I do have one I got 2 for file history. That's interesting. Oh, I was experimenting. That's why I put that one in there. Have the same first name, but they have different letters in front of them, which means the computer sees, they don't look at the name, they look at the letter. The computer does. So if it's assigned a different letter, it's not, even though the name's the same, it doesn't look at it as if it's the same drive. It's not the name of it, it's the letter assigned to it. It's how your computer distinguishes. To return, well, we already did. The next thing, excluded folders. If there are certain folders you do not want it to back up the files in it, you can exclude them here. Some people do not include their pictures folder. They exclude it. And the reason for that is they got another hard drive that every now and then, and they do this manually, they copy that picture folder over to that other drive and do it manually. So they got a backup of all their pictures on an external drive, and it's separate. There's nothing else there but the pictures. About 3 years ago now, one guy did a Microsoft update. And he came back to his computer and he couldn't get his pictures. He had 20,000 pictures on his computer that he'd been taking his whole life. And that's the story that came out. And then a week later, he says, oh, by the way, he religiously backs up his pictures every week. So he had 2 other drives with all his pictures on it. But he could not access them on his computer because of the update Microsoft sent. If there's not a reason for backing up stuff, if you've got stuff you cherish, you want to back up your data, all your files. I mean, some of it you might not think it's that important, and it might turn out to be that way. But what he did is he added the pictures folder here. Now, after we've done that, how do you get back to that one page that has the menu on it? Well, a lot of people will hit these arrows out here. I never hit those. I want to go back to the file history page. So it's up there in the menu or in your location of where the file is. I want to go back to file history. So I just point at it and click on it. Come on. Oh, shoot. Let's go back. There we go. So now I'm back. Advanced settings. Advanced settings. Save copies of your files every hour. That's the default. Now, every 10 minutes if you wanted. 15 minutes daily, every 12 hours. Daily. Here's what's nice about it. When you start file history, it starts backing up all your data files. Once it gets all your data files backed up, the next thing from then on, it doesn't copy all your data files again. It only backs up the data files you changed. Now, how many data files do you change every day and save them every minute you make a change in them? I mean, if I change 4 or 5 files every day, you know, that's pretty good for me. So it doesn't back up the whole thing again. It only backs up what you've changed. And it will have, okay, here's the name of this file. And it'll have copy 1 and it'll have copy 2. It'll have the original one, and then the modifications you made will be copy 2. So if you want to go back to copy 1, you can go back to copy 1 and not copy 2. If you delete it off your computer, you can go into file history. It's still there. Which copy do you want it to put back in that same location? Just click on it and say replace it, and it'll put that file back where you deleted it from. And if you want to put copy 1 back instead of copy 2, you can say put copy 1 back. I mistakenly deleted that. I did that. I've deleted files before and I didn't mean to do it. Instead of going to what? The recycle bin, I'll go to file history, because I might find 5 or 10 copies of it, go back 5-10 years. And I'll say, okay, put the original copy up. There was some stuff in that I've gone over and changed and changed and changed. I want to see what I said in the original copy. And you can put that back, and then when you're done with it, you can go back and say, okay, replace it with the last copy now. And it saved me a few times. I leave the every 10 minutes alone. I mean, I don't change it. I've never changed it. I had a gig on my old desktop computer. I had file history set up on it. I put a 500 gigabyte hard drive for file history. And I used that thing for, I got that thing in what, 2013 or 2012? And I stopped using it 3 years ago because 11 came out and I can't put 11 on that computer. But I had never filled up that hard drive less than half. It was always less than half full. It never filled up that drive. Now, that amazed me. That many years, and I still had plenty of room on that drive to put more files. Now, that's not true for everybody, but that's what happened to me. So I leave that alone.
Default every hour. Is that what you're
Well, yeah, I think I left it on every hour, the default. Sorry. And that was fine. That means you need to leave your computer on for a while. If you turn your computer on and off and on and off and on and off, like my wife does, maybe every 10 minutes is what you need. So, what happens after we've done that? Keep saved versions. What do you mean keep saved versions? Keep saved versions until space is needed. That's a good thing to check on. Forever. Forever means it will eventually fill up your disk, possibly, depending on how you do what you do with your files. This home group is something that they had for people at their home. Nobody ever understood how it worked, and nobody ever used it that I know of. They've got different ways of doing that now. In essence, it's called sharing. What I've done at home is I've got, in essence, I got 3 laptops. I registered all 3 with the same email address. So whichever email address I used on this laptop, that's the one I registered my laptop at home. And then what happens is anything I do to this computer also happens on that one at home, and vice versa. So if I go out on the internet and I do some searching and I found something I really want, and I save that, I go to the other computer and it's there. So I can use it. I don't have to copy it or anything. It's automatically put there. And that was nice when I was building a computer. I turn that on when I build the computer, and then all of a sudden I got 2 computers that are duplicates, and then I turn it off. So now they are individual. I changed the address on the one, so it's not the same email address on both of them. And then they're individual computers. But I mean, I found that's the best way to transfer all your files. Right there. It works.
Mike,
Yeah,
when you were up there talking about save, forever,
yeah.
if you set that for something else, and will it delete the last of the oldest version?
Yes.
Of the files?
Yes. Until space is needed, what'll happen, it'll delete the oldest version of each individual file that it
So
can.
you won't lose the latest.
You won't lose the file, you'll lose the oldest versions of them. All right? So that takes care of the home group. And it does a log. I've never opened that, but you can open up file history event logs to see what's going on and if there's any errors in it. I just never have worried about it. So I'm done with all that. So I go back to file history again, point at that, click on it. And when I chose that file right there, when I chose that device, it automatically turned this on. If it still says turn on down here in the lower right-hand corner, you click on that and that'll change. It would say turn on. When you click on turn on, it now changes to turn off, which means up here at the top, it'll say, if this says turn off, up here at the top, it'll say file history is on. If I change that to, if I click on it now, it will turn off file history, and up here it'll say file history is off. Well, once you turn it on, you just leave it on. And that's really the last thing. And now file history is working. And I talked about what's on the next page before part 4. Oh, I'm doing pretty good. First time file history runs, it backs up all your data files. It might take some time. You don't have to worry about it. If you turn your computer off every night, when you turn it, maybe it didn't finish, copy everything. Well, when you turn it back on in the morning, it picks up where it left off and continues. Until the first time where it's got everything backed up, and then it starts looking just for changes. Or any changes would be something new you added to the list. That's a change. So if I introduced a new file, that'll be copied. And this just you just let it run. You don't worry about it. Is it running? Can I turn the computer off? You want to turn your computer off? Turn it off. The big debate now is, should you leave your computer on all the time or should you turn it off? I don't know the answer to that. So lately I've just been leaving my computer on 24/7. What I do though is once a week I will reset it. Because every now and then, if it loses one bit of something, it can mess up how it works. And the only way you're going to get that one bit back is to restart your computer, which means reset it, let it boot back up, get everything back to where it's smooth running at the beginning. And I do that on the one computer here in the back of the room that we use for our office computer. Every Monday morning, I restart it. Just say reset the computer. And every now and then I'll find there's some it's doing some things funny. Now, what's going on here? Reset it, takes care of it. Usually. If it doesn't, then something else is wrong with it. And that's when it.
If you say reset, you mean restart?
Restart, sorry. Yeah. All right, it's been a long day for me.
How about you?
Yeah. So it's running. Now, what we have to do, I got to stop sharing on this computer, and this computer is now defunct. And now I need to move over to this other one. And hopefully I can share on this. Come on, where are we? Share. So I'm gonna do screen again, and I'm sharing the screen. I don't know why I didn't think of this the other day when I was told, I wrote in the notes, I said, I'm gonna be using a second computer, and I didn't think about this. What happened? It's asking me to log in again. That's crazy.
Missed the time, yeah.
Let's go. Where do I want? Stop share. You don't see this, do you? No?
Well, now we see everybody.
Yeah, but that's,
Hey, we see both of mine,
yeah,
both windows.
right. Let's see, what can I do over here to stop this? Let me check something real fast here.
Oh, you're casting maybe from that.
Okay,
computer.
I'm casting from this computer, right?
See,
Okay, so I need to stop the casting. All right. So let's see, Control P. Come on. Where are you? No, it's not. It's Windows key plus P. Disconnect. There we go. Okay, now that computer is no longer connected to the screen. Those of you at home, give me a minute. I'll be right with you. Do this, type the word cast. Oh, do you all know you can do this with your home TV set if you got a smart TV? After you say cast, you come down here and you click on connect. And when you connect, the names of the TV that's close will pop up here. And when you click on that, it connects. If somebody had control of the TV, they could say cancel or not. Come on. There we go.
it's just busy now.
There we go. Okay, now I'm casting from this other computer. I found out if I find something on the computer that I can't find somewhere else, I can go in, especially with what was ESPN Plus is not a standard station in most packages. But for Disney, you can get it, but you can't get it through the TV. I couldn't. So I get it on my computer and cast it to the screen, my TV, and watch basketball or football games when it's on ESPN Plus. I'm really watching it from my what? From my computer, but I'm casting my computer to the TV. You can cast your phones. Same idea to your TV sets. So it's a nice idea.
That's
All
what
right.
Elizabeth did with her, when she was here over Christmas, she used her phone and casted it to the TV.
Somebody needs to mute themselves. Thank you. We're hearing you talking about somebody casting. Okay, sorry. Can't find that now. All right. Okay, that one's done. So now, on this one, I want to get back in and I want to share. And I'm doing screen, so I say share, and this is the screen on my other computer. Okay. Now, if I want to restore something using file history, the first thing you have to know is the exact location of that file. Where is it on your computer? So when you go through this, let's see. What I've been doing is I want to show you where this file is so you know where it's located. I've got to open up File Explorer and hopefully I go to, okay. I start out at home and I want to go to Documents. Okay, now everybody says, okay, see right there, there's a Documents folder. If I click on that Documents, double click, right here, it says that documents folder is on OneDrive in my personal OneDrive folder. So that documents is out in OneDrive. That's not the documents I want. I also go back to home. And I come down here and I've just got plain old documents. And notice it says M. Seiler documents. Well, every computer has its official name. It takes how you signed up on the computer and it uses that as your name of that computer. This right here is on the hard drive inside this computer. This is not in OneDrive. So I need to know where this thing is that I'm looking for. And it is in this location, and it's called file. It's in this folder called File History Examples, and it's called Example Docs. And if I open it right now, it's not doing me any good. But I'm going to go ahead and open it, show you a little bit of what it looks like. Come on. There we go. Sometimes this computer's a little. I started file history on this one back in 1924 in November. And I started throwing stuff on it, and I just keep adding stuff to it. July 7th, yesterday, was the last time I modified this file and saved it. I've got another file history that goes back to 2014. It's on one of these drives. I don't know which one. I'm not going to try and find it. It's probably on the computer at home. But that's what the original file looks like right now. Okay, well, I don't want that. Let's do two things. First thing, it's highlighted. Let's delete it. It's gone. But I'm not going to get it back one way. I'm going to go for it another way. So I'm going to get out of this and just miniaturize that for now. I could go back to the recycle bin and claim it. All right, that's possible. But I don't want to go that way. What I want to do is I want to come up to start. I clicked on what? The Windows icon, and right here, notice the cursor comes right up at the beginning of the search window, and I'm going to type in file history. And again, I don't have to start typing in the word history because I've typed it in so much in the past months. It's used to me going there instead of File Explorer. If you've never done this before, instead of it coming up file history like mine after the word file, you get Explorer after it. And you just have to keep typing history, and then it'll change the file history. So we click on file history, and we go into file history. And right here, one of the menu items over on the left that we haven't looked at is restore your personal files. That's what I want to do. So restore your personal files. I come in here, and for this whole screen, these are all the main folders it supposedly has what? Copied. And I've done this 162 times. Now, how do you go backwards? Down here at the bottom. Oh, goodness. Can I move this up to the top? Yes. Get that up to the top. See these arrows down at the bottom here. Down along the bottom, there's an arrow point. This one says previous version and newer version. Well, I can't go to any newer version because I'm looking at 162 of 162. But if I go backwards, I'm looking now at the 161st. And you could do this 159 more times if you wanted to get back to version 1 to see what it looked like originally. That's a lot of holding down that. I think what you can do is you can just hold it down permanently and it just flies. Okay. But it's still a pain in the neck. So I want to go back out to 162. Okay, now, I need to look at the documents folder that is where? I got a documents folder, a documents folder, a documents folder out here to the far right. I got 3 of them. I want the one that talks about the documents on my hard drive in my computer, not the ones that are in OneDrive. So I start guessing. Documents, let's try, that looks like the icon I had when I was looking for it. So I'm gonna click that to begin with. And by golly, I hit it right on the button. That is what? It's looking at this is the path. It's looking on the C drive into the users folder. My name on this computer is CKCSE. It's 5 letters. I don't know if you've ever read anywhere where it says user's name. It's going to take the email address that you use and take the first 5 letters of it as your user's name. And that will be the user's name on this computer until I go in and change it. Which I'll probably never change it. But and then as we're looking at the documents folder. So where is this? This is on the C drive. I'm going to go back. So I'm going to go click up on the up arrow. I'm going to click on the one next to it, documents, right here. Double click on it. Look at the path up here. Again, it's users, CKCSE, but it says what? OneDrive. That tells me this is looking at the OneDrive folder, not what's on my computer, but what's out there somewhere on some system. Who knows where it is? China, I hope not. So I want to go back again. And I want to go to the correct one. Documents, whoops. I haven't gone back far enough. There we go. I want to get back to the original page. And I want to go to 162, not 161. And I'm going to go documents. And what did I look in? File history examples. So I double click on that. And the name of the file was what? Examples.docx. This is copy 15 of 15 of them. So if I double click on that, it will open it. Now it's opening, it's giving me a preview what that file looks like, but this right here is not in Word. It didn't open it in Word, it opened it in what? File history. It used the syntax of Word to show me what it looks like here. If I scroll all the way to the bottom, July 7th, yesterday was the last time I updated it. So this is what? Copy 3 of 3. Well, what can I do? I can come down here and say, let's go back. 2 of 3. Version can't be reviewed because it was copied to the following drive, which isn't connected to this PC. Okay, that's nice. All right, let me get out of here. How do I get out of this? Click on my up arrow. Click on my up arrow, click on another one. 162, 162. Let's go backwards here one time. And let me go into documents now and see if anything happens. File history examples. And there's nothing there because it wasn't copied onto this file history. That's what happens to me when I start using different drives to illustrate things. I was trying something else where I could do all of this on one computer. Set it up and show you how to reclaim. But what did I do? Remember, what did I do with that file on my computer? Do I remember what I did? File Explorer. Going back where I started. Let's go to Documents. Let's go into File History Examples. What did I do? I deleted it. So if I go back, I think that's file history, isn't it? Your internet connection is unstable. Okay, what else is new in my life? Okay, that's not what I want. Okay. Let's get out of this. Okay, that, I want to get out of this too. Let me get out of file history. Oh, and I'm going to do what? Restore a personal file. And I'm going into documents. And I'm going into file history. And there's the latest version. Well, now remember, when I went into File Explorer, it wasn't there. So what do? You want to restore it, you come down to that green circle with the arrow in it, and that, see what it says next to it? Restore to original location. If I had been doing this, it will restore it, and it will open it back. What it did is it went right, it opened up File Explorer. It's showing me file history examples. What do I have to do? I have to open this up, and there it is, and put it back in there. All right. So I can go back and restore an earlier version.
So that date modified then, that's the last time you updated the document.
Yes,
but-
was yesterday.
Yeah, but it's been, even though it's been moved and everything, you still have your original date modification,
Yes,
but it's been moved around on 7/8.
right. Now, if I could go back to a previous version of it. I could go back to a previous version. And I went back 4 or 5 versions of that. When I restored that, whatever date was on that will be carried over when I restore it. The date that I did that. But I mean, if you use it, this has saved me several times and it's helped me, I wanted to go back and look at the original version of a file that I was creating. And I went back and looked at it, and there was some stuff in it, I deleted it, and I thought that was good, I needed to put it in the newest version, so I just copied it. And deleted that, and then restored the latest version and pasted that stuff back into it, the newest version. I wondered, why did I delete it from the original version to begin with?
But it won't be as complicated as yours, because for most of us, it's because we'll have
It-
one
When you say,
hard
it-
drive using for back.
right, and with mine, it's a little bit messed up. And what I really need to do is start over from scratch. Get it clean off a hard drive, plug this thing in at home and leave it on for about 2 or 3 months. And do things with it. But this is the one I carry back and forth. I don't want to have to undo my main computer at home. I've got a laptop. I use it like it's a desktop. It just stays right there on my desk all the time. And I used to move it back and forth. And after I unplugged 4 or 5 things and then plugged them all back in, when I moved it, I said, I don't want to do that anymore. So I put this thing together.
How do you leave that drive plugged in to that port all the time?
I just do.
Well, but what if you want to plug something else in?
Oh,
I've got a USB.
you got to get a hub.
SD reader and all that.
This right here is a hub. This goes into the USB-C port, which most new computers have now. They don't, this has got only 2 USB ports in it. On this side, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got 4 USB ports. On the end, there is no place to plug in my Ethernet cable. So the Ethernet cable goes into this. This goes into my computer. It's just like I had a port on the computer. It's also got HDMI ports on it. It's got a slot for those little chips, those memory chips you use in your cameras. I can plug those in here if I want. It's called a hub.
They're not.
Some of them are very expensive. Some of them are not. This one was an expensive one that I found on sale for 1/3 of the original price, and I couldn't say no. Every now and then a deal will come past me and I say, that is such a good deal, I need to take advantage of it, and I do. And I bought this and then I went back and started looking for it and I saw how much it cost. I said, I never would have paid that for it if I had to.
Well, for
And
the
I
next-
wouldn't have, I would have bought a cheaper one.
for the next 4 days, Prime is running all kinds of specials.
Right, yeah.
You can even find,
But
external
this is
hard
what
drives.
people are having to use on the newest computers. Because they're not putting USB ports on it anymore, or maybe there's one.
But this.
Yeah. This is how you get around it.
And the power strips that you can buy, you know, for plugging in electronics and stuff. Now you can get power strips, so electric power strips that also have USB ports in them. So I
Right.
just plug my phone into
Right, yeah,
a little port and I can save my electric plug for something else. I don't
Right.
even have to use the
Yep.
phone electric plug.
I mean, this is, to me, I also, this is a Lenovo computer right here, this first one I used. We used to use the newspaper on it every day. Read the newspaper. What I loved about it, I want to unplug everything I got plugged into it. I got a tablet now. So I've got a tablet and a computer right here. And that's why I fell in love with Lenovo. And I've got two, my main computer's a Lenovo. And believe it or not, for about $50 extra, they didn't have one of these, but they had an interface, they plug in the back of it, it takes the place of this. I couldn't believe it. I said, I don't have to buy one of these. It's already part of the laptop. But I mean, that's what you have to do now. One of my students brought her computer in. She says, how do I hook this up to the internet? Because there was no place to plug the Ethernet thing. I said, you got to get one of these. And she did. And she's back on the internet at her, or I don't know if she lives in a house or she's got an apartment. But it works.
I even took my hard drive off of one of my old laptops, took it over to Kentucky Trade. And they put it all together and now it's my external hard drive for my files.
Right. Well, on
It's on there.
the Lenovo I've got at home, it's got a solid state drive, which is the operation drive, and it's got a hard drive for the data. And there's a way, I can't demonstrate it unless you got a computer that has that extra drive in it to show you how to do it. But you can take all your data and say, don't save it on the C drive, move it over to the D drive. So your documents folder is now on the D drive. So when you say save it, you think you're going to C, but it doesn't, it goes to D. And you get all your data on your other drive. The other things I did with, I've done it with, I've done it with every computer in here. Except the new laptop we got there. We had hard drives in it. Well, what's happening is a lot of people, they're not fast enough to keep up with Windows 11. Windows 11 sends it so many commands, the hard drive can't do all of them fast enough, and it slows the computer down to a snail's pace. So what we did in here is we bought solid state drives. We copied the drive that was on the computer to the solid state drive and then switched the drives. So we got solid states and everything here, and that problem went away. And I've had people bring computers in here, they're just getting rid of them. And I didn't know about that, how to solve that problem until I talked to the repairman. He says, yeah, just get a solid state drive and that'll take care of it. So I've got a couple laptops, you know, that put a solid state drive in them and they're like a brand new computer now. Cause the solid state, there's no moving parts. It's like a thumb drive. And you say it's bigger, but I mean, my thumb drive is a terabyte. So it works. Questions? I'm really done.
Yeah, I've got a question on the laptop, which my laptop, the definition moves around. Not every day, but when I move it. It is okay though, if you're gonna have a device, a hard drive to run externally to do file history, to go ahead and unplug that when you're moving the computer around. You should, because I always shut mine down whenever I'm going to work, put it in a backpack, wherever, and go. Then if you unplug that, because when your computer's down, file history is not gonna be running, correct?
Right.
So,
And you
but-
plug
but-
that back in before you boot it up.
So you plug it back in before you boot it back up,
Yes.
is that correct? Okay,
That would,
got rid of my question,
that,
so
I
you,
think that works, yes.
okay.
Yeah,
Because otherwise,
right,
you can't do it.
right,
Okay.
right. Or you can, you know, leave it plugged in, shut this and put this on top, just make sure you're holding it.
And you also, this kind of a little bit of side issue on your laptops, you leave those plugged in all the time? Do you leave them plugged in all the time to the electricity?
Yeah.
Okay,
And the one, unfortunately, when I first started doing that, you could take the battery out.
yeah,
I take the battery out and I leave it plugged in all the time. It's
Yeah, I-
not running on the battery.
that you needed to let them, that you need to exercise the battery, or else eventually your battery would not keep it up at all. Is that
Well-
correct? I mean,
My computer is like a desktop computer.
okay, so you don't, okay.
I never unplug it. It's plugged in all the time. I can't take the battery out of that one I have. So I just don't worry about it. I figure by the time something goes wrong, it'll be 7, 8, 9, 10 years from now and,
Renewing it.
well, who knows? I might not be here. You never know.
That bucket might be full, huh?
My bucket's getting there, let me tell you.
We'll be optimists there.
I'm not getting old, everybody else is.
If I could be like my one uncle, my dad's youngest brother, he's the only one surviving. He's the only one alive in the family. He's 97 and he's just as sharp as we are. He drives. I mean, it's unbelievable. If I can be like that when I get to 97, I'm not gonna get to 97.